Okay, so next up, setting and maintaining boundaries is really hard for us. And ironically, this is probably going to be one of the shorter videos. And in reality, it's one of the things that we spend the most time on when I'm coaching people. We usually have a lot of trouble setting and maintaining boundaries for a lot of really good reasons. And the first one is we were taught that God knows our every thought and feeling. And so most of us were taught it's going to sound maybe strange to somebody who didn't grow up this way, but there's this porousness that we were brought up with where God knows our every thought and feeling. We were supposed to, in some religions, confess our sins to one another. We were asked really intrusive questions by our grown-ups, and we were not allowed to not answer. And if we answered in a way that was evasive or protective of our own internal space, in a lot of cases, we were punished for that. Um, Boundaries are usually not allowed in the high demand, high control religions. Everybody knows everybody's business. Everybody is supposed to know everybody's business. You're supposed to know what's going on in your children's minds at all times so that you can steer them in the right directions. Spouses, it's not just that they're not supposed to keep secrets from one another, but everyone is supposed to be an open book, but also be always thinking the right things and feeling the right things so that you can be an open book and so that you can be accepted within the community. One of the things that LDS people have to do is talk to their bishop in great detail, and the things that teenagers are asked to talk with their bishops about, it makes my stomach churn. But I've had client after client after client tell me about being a teenager and being asked detailed questions by their bishops about whether or not they masturbate, whether or not they ever look at pornography, whether or not they have sexual thoughts and feelings. Um, so many of my clients have told me about just the simplest things in the world that their parents ask them how they feel about something. The child tells them how they feel, and there's immediate advice about it. And most of us were not allowed. Can you imagine if you grew up ultra religious? Can you imagine if somebody had asked you one of these invasive questions? Can you imagine what would have happened if you'd said, I don't think I should have to talk with you about that. I don't think this is inappropriate, or I don't think this is appropriate. I can't imagine having said that to any of my grown-ups, even if they were several layers removed from me and not family. It's just something I would not have done. So there's lots more to talk about when it comes to this, but learning how to set and maintain boundaries is one of the best things you can ever do for yourself if you grew up ultra religious. It may be difficult. It's going to completely change your relationships, but it is so rewarding to be able to begin to be more grounded within yourself and trust what you are thinking and not feel like you've got to be exposed all the time and doing what other people want you to do and having the thoughts that other people want you to think and having the feelings that other people want you to feel. Being able to learn how to have boundaries and set boundaries and maintain boundaries is incredibly rewarding. The strength that goes along with this is that most of us have a ton of empathy, but empathy oftentimes goes with not having strong boundaries. When we feel other people's feelings and when we're trying to figure out what they want all the time, that empathy that goes along with that is a great strength. It serves us well in our lives, but learning how to set and maintain boundaries is going to be hugely rewarding for all of us. Up next, I'm going to talk about how many of us can be very unaware of our bodies.